Hi folks. If you hang around long enough, you'll hear a few minutes from the audio version of my latest book. I'm still working on the audio, but the paperback and digital versions are already available on Amazon. But enough of the promo. Here we go. Another night in a cheap motel, this time in downtown Yorkton. As I was pulling my gear off the bike to take it inside my room, a very obviously drunk guy carrying a can of Coke, which I was pretty sure didn't just have Coke in it, staggered over to talk to me.
"That's an old bike,"
he murmured, more to himself than to me.
"Where you headin'?"
I explained that I was heading in a westerly direction, but didn't really have any firm plans. An answer that he must have found difficult to process, because he soon staggered off again. A few minutes later, a distressed middle-aged lady made her way along the opposite sidewalk, alternating between wailing and crying and shouting out loud. Clearly this was a neighborhood where anything might happen. I pulled the bike as close as possible to my window so I'd be able to hear if anyone was fooling with it, and went inside. Of course, nobody had touched the bike overnight, and it sat, gleaming in a fresh coat of raindrops as I repacked and struggled into my rainsuit. The dark clouds above left no doubt as to the kind of day it was going to be, and I needed to be fully prepared. For this trip, I'd eschewed more 21st century riding gear. You know the stuff, day-glow cordura with countless zips, pockets, and waterproof and mesh liners, for my heavy leather jacket and leather chaps. Why? I don't know, really. I suppose for the same reason I choose to ride an ancient bike across the country. I like the feel and the strength of leather. I can pack any number of padded and insulating layers beneath, and I can ride all day without getting too hot or too cold with a few quick adjustments. It's not very weatherproof, though, so no matter how well padded I am, my rain suit goes over the top. Riding in damp, cold Britain one year, I'd suffered from cold feet, soaked when my very effective rain pants drained water directly into the top of my hiking boots. I quickly learned to wear my hiking gaiters under the rain pants, but over the top of the boots, so the water ran right off. I had my gaiters with me now, so before stepping into my rain pants, the gaiters went on over the chaps, adding an extra layer of waterproofing to my lower legs. And man, did I need it. By the time I set off, it was raining, and it pretty much rained all day. I'd only ridden about 20 miles when I stopped for breakfast at the Tim Hortons in Melville. I'd broken one of my golden rules and forgotten to fill up the night before. According to Google, none of the nearby gas stations opened until 7 a.m., so I had to cool my already soggy jets over a coffee and a breakfast sandwich. I must have been chilled already, because when the nice lady behind the counter asked me whether I wanted one of those hash browns they make out of little cubes of white plastic, I said yes. As long as it remotely resembled food, my body was going to need it. It was still pouring when I filled up at the adjacent Mobil station, but there was no point lingering, so I rejoined the highway, put my head down, and just got on with it. I could try to describe the constant side winds, the sheets of rain, the almost impenetrable spray from transport trucks, the creeping damp in my groin, the sodden gloves, the cold, wet feet, the grim nastiness of it. But it would sound far too much like whining. I must have some strange condition, because when conditions get really, really unpleasant, I'm wet, cold, and have miles and miles left to ride, I find myself singing in my helmet and unexpectedly cheerful. Thanks for listening, and for your continued support of my channel. The books are available through Amazon in digital and paperback formats already, and as you can tell, I'm still working on the audio version. It'll be available through Audible and Amazon, well, as soon as I get it finished. Thanks again.